Have you guys ever seen the episode of Saturday Night Live that Kristen Stewart hosted? One of my favorite skits, other than the Stefan skits, is the Totino's pizza roll lady. And in that skit, she plays the sister of one of the Totino's pizza roll guys, one of the hungry guys. And her name is Sabine. And her and the Totino's pizza roll lady go on to make basically a French lesbian film in a Totino's pizza roll commercial. Anyway, my point is this. In Charlie's Angels, the new one coming up, Kristen Stewart's character is named Sabina. So I'm wondering if she insisted on that name from the Totino's pizza roll skit. Just something to think about. This is Leslie. Welcome to Geeky Girls Night In.
Hold on to your seat.
What are you doing?
Now you're talking.
And now,
you are now listening to the Geeky Girls Night In podcast.
You are now listening to the Geeky Girls Night In
podcast.
Hey guys, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step two. Step two. Vicky. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, so welcome back to Geeky Girls Night In. I have missed every single one of you, and I'm so sorry. And I will get to why I've been absent in a minute. But first, I want to know what you're drinking. What do you have in front of you? Are you listening to this in your car on the way to work or on the way home from work? You got a cup of coffee? You have a perfect cup of vanilla Coke with the good ice? I miss vanilla Coke. So what I'm drinking tonight is twofold. And to explain that, I'm diabetic. So I have a Lipton diet green tea and mixed berry. And then I also have a cup of hot tea, just plain black tea with real sugar in it. And the reason for this is when I was coming down to the dungeon to podcast, I took a look at my Dexcom and my blood sugar was at an 85 and the Dexcom had the arrow pointing straight down, which meant basically my blood sugar is about to crash. Now, in preparation for this, I ate a piece of a cookie, so we should be okay. But just in case we're not, I have my tea with sugar in it and it should hit my system fairly quickly. So make sure you get on Twitter, go to Geeky Girls NI, and let me know what you're drinking. Okay, so now that we know what each other is drinking, the reason why I've been gone is actually kind of a simple one. You see, my 9 to 5 has changed drastically. I am now a road warrior. If you don't know what that term is, that means that I am on the road quite a bit and it exhausts me. I'm gonna be honest with you. The work that I'm doing right now exhausts me. And last week, I was bound and determined to do an episode. And I was going to be out of town, and I was out of town for 3 days. And So when I packed my suitcase, I packed my podcasting equipment as well, and thinking that I would do what I need to do for my 9 to 5, come back to the hotel, and podcast. And I was so exhausted from the work I was doing that I would just come back to the hotel and like lay in the bed like a beached whale. I'm not even gonna lie. The podcasting equipment never came out, and I was so sorry for that. I really wanted to do it while I was on the road, but I'm so exhausted by the time everything gets done that I can't focus, and I don't have time. So, you know, it is what it is, and I don't know how to put it, but it'll get better. It'll get better. I'm hoping that I'll get used to it, and, you know, build my mental strength up, and we shall go forth. So in the meantime, please be patient, please be gentle, and please be kind. I'm doing the best I can, and I know QUINZEL is doing the best that she can, and, you know, it's just us. It's just us. We're a little shop. So I know the people that listen to this care about us, and we care about you and your mental health. So I hope you will give us the same as well. So Week in Geek, I'm gonna start out with The Secret Garden. So I found out that they're remaking The Secret Garden, and I freaked because I loved that movie as a child. Absolutely loved it. And I think it's the reason why I plant stuff every year, is because I absolutely love that movie. And I found out that they were remaking it, and it was one of the things, like, I'm not a huge fan of remakes. Like, they want to remake The Three Amigos, and I gagged. But I wouldn't mind a Secret Garden remake. And I'm definitely going to need somebody to be like, Archie, I'm in the garden. I don't know why, but that just amuses me to no end. Plus, I love keys, like skeleton keys, like fancy old-timey keys, because of this movie. Just absolutely adore it. So, in order to get prepared for the new Secret Garden, one of the things that I've never done is that I've never read the book, The Secret Garden, ever. So I bought it on sale at Amazon. I bought it in ebook form because I have a Kindle Touch, and it was like $1.49. Not bad at all. So I read the book, and my plan is to read the book, which I've done, rewatch the movie, which I about 98% sure I own. I specifically remember buying it because it came with The Secret Garden and A Little Princess. And I like parts of A Little Princess, but it mostly just depresses me a lot. But I'm gonna watch the movie, read the book, and then do kind of like a comparison, contrasting blog post on Geeky Girl's Guide to Life. I remember a lot of the movie, but there's patches missing. And one of the things that I noted from the book that I remember from the movie was that Dame Maggie Smith, is she a dame? I know Judi Dench is a dame. That's what they call people that have been knighted by the queen, right? Women that have been knighted by the queen. They're dames, I believe. And I think Maggie Smith is a dame. Dame Maggie Smith. If she isn't a dame, she should be a dame. That's my personal opinion. She's amazing. Anyway, in the movie, she was always there. Like, when Colin and Mary were up to shenanigans, like, she was always around. And then in the book, she was always hiding somewhere because she didn't want nothing to do with Mary. Like, she couldn't stand Mary. So we'll see. I don't know. I hope to watch it this weekend. We'll see. I don't really have a whole lot going on. I do have a D&D game, but that's on Friday. Speaking of, Caitlin, what time is the D&D game on Friday? Please and thank you. I'm going to take a quick break, take a few gulps of this diet green tea, mixed berry, which the peach is better, but beggars cannot be choosers. It's either this or mellow yellow zero, which gross, yuck, ew. But yeah, I'll be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bill and Frank Eat Pop Culture.
The Bill and Frank Eat Pop Culture Podcast, available today on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and at the website baggedboardedandboxed.com.
The entire commode shifts.
I feel like you leave the log.
I wiped, I cleaned up, I left it.
Two completely unqualified, self-proclaimed experts discuss television,
Varys drops his robe, and he's got this huge
He's really been playing the Game of Thrones.
movies,
James Cameron is a douchebag.
comics,
Mystique can grow airplane wings.
What?
Well, she's a shapeshifter.
and professional wrestling.
This is not a wrestling podcast.
Lashley is just a dial tone. Like, who cares?
Dial tone.
Already many great episodes for you to binge listen to. Go catch up now. Bill and Frank Eat Pop Culture. Go listen, download, and subscribe today.
I am wearing pants, but no underwear.
We are back. Well, I am back. It's just me today. And speaking of just me, I am in the process of getting a guest lined up for the show. Her thing is not really super geeky, but I think it's something that we all can appreciate. I'm gonna call her the Cat Whisperer. She is a one-woman machine, basically. She traps stray cats and she gets their ears tipped, and these are like stray feral cats, and so she traps them. She gets them spayed and neutered, gets them taken care of, and then like releases them in pretty much the same neighborhood that they were in. She's a one-woman help control the pet population machine. I want to tell you more about her, but I really want her to be on the show and let her tell you a little bit more about herself, and maybe you'll find it in your heart to maybe throw some kitty kibble her way. I know she would appreciate it. She's taking care of a lot of animals, and some of the stories she has are heartbreaking. She just took in a kitten recently, and it just absolutely tugged on my heartstrings. And I really want you guys to just listen and be cognizant and mindful of helping the little guy out, you know? So I did a little reach out to my friends in podcasting, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Boobies and Newbies, and they are a romance novel podcast, and I've spoken about them before because they have all sorts of activities and stuff. And so they are doing, well, it's called Boobmas. And basically it's 12 short holiday romances and 12 podcast episodes over the course of December leading up to the holidays. There's also giveaways and holiday fun too. You gotta love that. I will be participating. I will be reading because I love a good romance novel. My personal favorites are the historical romance. So let me back up. I say historical romance novels, but about 6 months ago, was it? I was on an Amish romance novel kick, and everybody looked at me like I was goofy. But hear me out. When Rebecca was on the podcast, we talked about before how, like in fan fiction, I skip the sex parts. I have no interest in them. I have no desire to read about somebody lapping up somebody's juices. I'm about to hork even just saying that. So like, I like the romance part. I don't need the sex part. So Amish romance novels are top notch for me. But I do like a good romance novel, a good historical romance novel. I like the history around it. So I can do both. And the sex in historical romance novels is not as bad as the sex in fan fiction, because like fan fiction gets down and dirty, and that ain't Lord lapping up her juices. Ow, yuck. So yeah, so I hope you will join them for the 12 days of Boobmas, and there will be a link in our show notes to last year's the first episode of last year's 12 days of Boobmas. If you do like them, let them know that us here at Geeky Girls Night In and Geeky Girls Guide to Life sent you their way. Yeah. In other Week in Geek news, this week premiered Watchmen on HBO. Now, HBO Go, I guess. I don't know if I have a bunch of Watchmen fans that listen. I saw the Watchmen movie a few years ago, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember much of anything from it except for Blue Dick. I read the recaps of this first episode, and none of it sparked a memory at all. I don't have HBO Go, but I've never gotten a trial for it, so maybe I'll get a trial just to watch the show, just to kind of check it out. We'll see. But the only thing I remember from, like I said, Watchmen is Blue Dick and Rorschach. And so after I read the recap, I went to Wikipedia to read a little bit about Rorschach to see what I remembered and all of that stuff. And I don't remember what Wikipedia says happened to him at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I don't remember that at all. I don't remember anything. And there are people that like live for this, and the fact that I can't remember it is just insane to me. I remember everything. I told you, I remember the movie The Secret Garden. I haven't seen that since I was a child. Watchmen was like, what? 10? 12 years ago? Something like that? I should have some memory other than Rorschach and Blue Dick, I would think. I don't know. So, but the premise of it sounds really good. And Brenda from 227 is on there, and I refuse to pass that up. So I'm gonna see about getting an HBO Go trial and check that out. Other than that, there hasn't been a lot of geekiness going on here. If you follow our Instagram page, you will notice that I have been uploading pictures of my Sims and flexing my creative writing muscle and writing little stories about them. That's about the geekiest thing that I have done, like in the past how many ever weeks. And then I had to take 2 weeks off of playing The Sims because I had life to deal with. Last weekend was the first weekend in like 2 to 3 weekends that I've been able to play The Sims. I don't play The Sims during the week. I got too much to do. Being a grown-up is rough. So, but yeah, like I've been creating stories behind them and things like that. And if that's something that you're interested in, please leave a comment on Instagram so that I know that you appreciate this, and I'll post more and more, because I'm not even posting a bulk of the pictures that I'm taking. I recently discovered poses and Andrew's pose pack and all of that, so I can do more with it. I love it. It's so much fun. And on my personal Facebook page, a lot of people get a kick out of it. So we'll see. Finally, I want to give you guys a couple of reminders. Number 1, Boobmas. Make sure you check it out. Number 2, do not forget that QUINZEL has a contest going on Instagram and Facebook for you to win a copy of Sparkle Kitty. Number 3, don't forget, I have a contest on here for you to win a copy of Sparkle Kitty. All you need to do is leave a comment on iTunes or Podbean or wherever you get your podcasts from. That's it, because I can check everything. So you'd be automatically entered into the drawing, and I will announce that on Twitter. So that is it for this week. Next week I should have a guest, and I will talk to you all soon. Until next time, bye. Hey there. Thank you for tuning in. Geeky Girls Night In is brought to you by me, Leslie. Special thanks to QUINZEL. Shouts out to Kim, Emily, and Mecca, who are always willing to give a helping hand. Do you like the show? Wishing there was something you could do to support? Help us out by buying us a cup of coffee. Go to coffee.com/geekygirlsni to pledge a cup or two for the show. That's ko-fi.com/geekygirls, N as in Nancy, I. Your support helps keep the lights on in the dungeon and the podcast on the air. Special thanks to Michelle. She's our first donor. You can check out other writings or interesting tidbits on Geeky Life at geekygirlguide.com. Until next time,